Hello everyone, I am Boiler and I welcome you all to this video where we will take a look at Distant Worlds 2 together. Distant Worlds 2 is the sequel to Distant Worlds universe, which I consider to be the best Space 4X game that I have ever played. I absolutely love Distant Worlds universe. I really think it got, well, not everything, but most of the stuff right about Space 4X games, about Space 4X experience. I will talk a little bit about that here when we look at this game, because from what I have seen and read, this game is really basically the same as the predecessor, just with updated graphics, a really hugely updated interface, because the first one, while it didn't have a terrible interface, it had some, it was an acquired taste, I will say it like that. I don't have a problem with the interface of the first game, but a lot of people do, and I can really say that this game, from what I have seen, seems to have a much more polished and modern interface, so that there's that. And obviously I expect it to have some changes to gameplay, improvements to systems, and just general more polished than the first one, because it's the same guys behind the game, so hopefully they used the years in between to get better at what they are doing. So I'm really excited for this. And if you are here and watching this video, just a quick note about what this video will be. We will really just have a quick look at the game. We'll see what kind of options there are to set up your game, because that's something that I really like about Distant Worlds, is that it has a lot of options to customize your game, how it plays out, how it starts, how everything works together. So there's a lot of stuff that you can customize here. We'll have a look at that. I will a little bit talk about how the game plays and what the game actually is, and what you can expect from it, and why I like the predecessor and hopefully this one as well. And if I spot differences to the first one, I will also talk about that. So if you're here and you already know the first one and you want to see if the sequel is something for you, I will try to point out differences that I spot, but it has been a while since I played Distant Worlds universe, so I will not spot all the differences. And sometimes I will maybe get confused, because I've already seen videos about this game here, so I know some of the similarities and differences already. Sometimes I might get confused as to what was in the previous game and what was not there and stuff like that. So bear with me here. But if you're interested in that sort of thing, please stay, and we will have a look at this baby together. So I did mess around already with these settings here, because I'm recording in 4K as always, and it seemed that this menu was really, really small. I can actually show you that. If we go back to standard, apply, as you can see, it's very small, and if the in-game interface is similar, then you will have a hard time actually reading anything, because this is 4K, and it's not a problem with my display, because that's really huge, but a lot of people have smaller displays, they watch on smaller resolutions, so I want it to be readable no matter what kind of screen and resolution you are using. So let's go with the largest one here, so you can actually read something. So apart from that, you have some mouse settings here. You can select what button you want to use for moving around the map, for dragging boxes around spaceships and stuff like that. Nothing too major. You can set your autosave minutes here, or turn off autosave if you want that. I've already messed with that because it was on 5 minutes, and I don't want it to autosave while we are doing this video, so 30 minutes should give us enough time in the game to avoid that. Then you have some graphics settings here, which is very bare bones. You can select full screen window, you can select user interface size, whatever that is, I don't know, and you can set your color scheme. So basically it's different colors. You have like blue and aquamarine and crimson, molten lava, which is probably more reddish, whatever. We'll use the default one, because I think it looks nice. I've already also turned down the music, so you can actually hear what I'm saying. and get not distracted by music. So yeah, these are galaxy map options. I'll just leave these on, all of these for now, and yeah, that's that menu. There's not much in it. So well, let's just jump in and start a game, and let's see what kinds of options we get. So it starts with the galaxy shape and size, and actually makes sense. And I think the predecessor had the same thing here, more or less. You had the galaxy shape, stars, and nebula. I don't know if that was in the previous game, but galaxy size definitely was. So let me have a look at it. So we have stars here. It goes up to 2,000. Oh, that's nice. The first one of Distant Worlds Universe had a maximum star count of 1,400. Yes, I think it was 1,400. So the two largest options are both are bigger. Both of these are bigger, which is really nice. So we'll obviously go with the biggest one because I always go with the biggest one. So 2,000 stars in one game. That's actually how many does Stellaris have? I'm not really sure. Does Stellaris have 1,500? I'm not really sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It has more than the predecessor, and 2,000 is more than you will ever need, which is really nice. So you have nebula density. We'll just leave that on normal. And then you have galaxy size. We can't do we can't do that with 2,000 stars, but this is okay. Then you have 8x8 and 10x10. I think this is also similar or identical to the first game. You had something like this as well. And then of course you have galaxy shapes. And you have a seed. So if you have a really cool map for some reason, then you can share that with friends or other people on the internet. So there's a seed here that will determine how your map will exactly look and what planets are where and stuff like that, I guess. So you also have galaxy shape here. So we can have classic. What's classic? Classic looks like spiral to me. Yeah, whatever. So classic, spiral, which is Milky Way style. You can have elliptical, a large ring with a few scattered stars in between. You can have a ring with a center blob here. You can have two rings or two rings with a center blob. Then you can have even clusters, varied clusters, and just irregular. And if you change the seed, let me have a look. It doesn't update it down there, but let me have a look. So, okay, it looks like this. And if I change the seed, okay, yeah, it does change the appearance of the map. But you have to click out of it and then back to actually see the change that will get applied. That looks nice with the hole there in the middle. Yeah, so we can, if you really want to look for a specific pattern here, you can try out different seeds, whatever. But we will go with the spiral galaxy here. Does that look like a spiral? Doesn't really look like a. We'll use that. Whatever. I want a spiral. So let's see what else we have. So then we have galaxy settings, and that's where stuff gets interesting. I mean, the previous screen is pretty standard for games like this, but this is now it gets really interesting because that is one of the biggest features for me in Distant Worlds. Galaxy expansion, tech level, these two options. We'll see these hopefully later on because the previous game had several screens where you could mess with these on different levels. I will tell you about that when we see it, but what that does is basically if you start with a pre-warp galaxy, that's what you would expect from most of these games. It's basically everyone is within their system and only start to expand outward out of their system after the start of the game. However, if you really have pre-warp selected with both of these, what that means is you first have to develop warp capabilities, which means you will be stuck within your star system for the first 1 or 2 hours, depending on how fast you get your feet off the ground. So you will be stuck within your star system. You have no way to leave it. You will have to develop that first, and then you will have to design ships with warp drives, and you have to build them before you can get anywhere. And this basically sets that for the whole galaxy. So everyone will be a pre-warp, everyone will be a pre-warp tech level. Now if you go to that, I think level 0 is with warp drive enabled, and starting means they will have a single colony with no ships and bases, but they will be able, everyone will be able to get a ship going to go to other systems pretty much from the start. Then of course you can go to have 2 or 3 to 4 colonies, you can have bigger empires, and if you go for old, basically if you want to just jump into the battle, you can go with old and tech level 7, and basically all that will be left to do for you is basically just go to war with the other guys, because most colonies will be taken, everyone will have the highest tech level, which means yeah, you don't have to research anything. So that is also an option here. But let's go back to pre-warp here. Then you have galaxy aggression, restless. Yeah, no, definitely not. I will go for normal here. Difficulty, we'll leave that on normal as well. So we have different difficulties. That's not something special here. I mean, you can have a chaotic galaxy, everyone just attacks everyone, or you can have a peaceful one where most people will get along, or, well, just leave it on normal, which means, aggression levels will be reasonable, but they will be there. Difficulty, yeah, you have that in most games, or basically all games. So research speed, you know that from other 4X games. If you play 4X games, many of these have that, where you can set research cost. So we'll set that to very slow. That's what I usually do, but obviously if you want to leave it on normal, you can do that as well. And then you have, what do you have here? Research visibility and research pathing. Okay, so only next projects visible or all projects visible. I don't know if the previous game had this, but yeah, I mean, why would I only have the next project visible? I want to plan out my research, so obviously have all projects visible. And research pathing, so we can have random research or fixed research paths. Why would I have random? I don't like randomness in these things, really. I mean, there are systems where randomness makes sense and it's actually cool, but if you just have a tech screen and just scramble that up just for the hell of it, you will end up with tech paths that don't make sense. So I would not recommend that. I will go for fixed research. So basically these two right-hand options here are what I know from the first game. I don't know if the first game actually had these two options here, but that's basically the standard in the first game, I think, and that's what I always played with. So all projects visible and fixed research path. Definitely I don't want tech trading, because I feel like tech trading speeds up the game too much. I don't really like that, so turn that off. Now, of course, we will not start a game here in the sense that we will actually start playing, but I still want to go through these options here. So what do we have? Starting a new game, threats. Okay, yeah, there are pirates in the game. You have to have pirates if you have a Space 4X game, obviously. They're on normal. I have read that a lot of people have trouble with pirates in this game. Apparently they're very strong. So I would probably suggest right now to set that on few. Maybe it gets balanced out later with an update, but currently, from what I have read, the pirates are a real problem. Maybe it has already been patched. There were 2 patches since the game launched, so maybe it has already been patched out by these. I don't really know, but I will have it on few, but with normal strength. Then you can have proximity. So basically this means how close to your starting world you actually have these pirates. Now the interesting thing here is with the lore of this game, is that there are pirates with warp capabilities from the start. You don't have warp capabilities if you selected pre-warp, but the pirates will have that. Because basically the background for this game, the lore is that this is the second age of space expansion and space empires. There has already been an age of spacefaring civilizations and empires, but they got destroyed, basically all of them. and reverted back to a pre-warp technological status. But there were some factions that were able to hang on to a warp technology, so these became pirates and are now basically bullying all the pre-warp civilizations. But if you can manage to stave them off, maybe you can pay them. You can pay them protection money basically, and once you progress your technology and have warp capabilities and better weapons and shields and stuff, you will eventually be able to overcome these pirates and defeat them. So that's actually a pretty nice backstory there. They are bullying you at the start of the game because they're strong, they have warp capabilities, they have better weapons, better ships and everything. But as the game progresses, they will fall behind and you will take the lead and destroy these guys. I really like that backstory. I mean, in a lot of other games, you just have pirates for the sake of it, or pirates emerge after you start expanding into space. Like in Stellaris, I think they emerge as part of expanding into space, where it says basically now that we have interstellar travel and stuff, now we have pirates. Here, pirates are already pre-existing. They're actually the only guys at the start of the game, if you selected pre-warp, that can actually travel between systems. And they're using that to earn money and raid your planets and stations and ships and stuff. So that's really cool, but as I said, you will overcome these guys. That's pretty satisfying. I really like that twist here on the pirate theme. So then you have the option for them to respawn or stay dead. Actually, I like to have pirates throughout the game. It gives you something to do from time to time, so I would actually recommend respawning them. Then you have space creatures, of course. If it's the same as in the previous game, some of them will be neutral or basically peaceful. Others will be very aggressive, and others again, I think, will only attack when threatened or something like that. I don't know, but you have different space creatures, of course, and they are also a distraction from time to time. So that's this screen. What else do we have? We have colonization options, so colony prevalence. Now, what I used to do in Distant Worlds Universe is, because I think it's the same here. I really believe it will be the same here. I already read some stuff about optimization troubles. So in the predecessor, if you have the biggest galaxy size, the late game will become very laggy. And one thing you can do to counter that a little bit is have less colonies, because then less stuff will be going on, obviously. And I actually think it adds to the atmosphere and reality and immersion stuff if you have less colonies. I mean, there are probably very, very few planets out there that are actually habitable. And most star systems will not have habitable planets. So I actually like having a galaxy that is really huge but has only very few colonies. So I like to have that on rare. I will have to find out if it's the same in this version of the game, but in the Distant Worlds universe, I really like to have that on rare. Then independent colonies, that's also an interesting thing here, because again, with the lore of this game, since you already had empires and spacefaring civilizations before the collapse, some of the colonies they had also survived and basically also reverted back to pre-warp, which means, let's say you play the human race and you venture out into space, you explore other systems, you might stumble across another human colony that will have humans on it and might actually join your empire because they're happy that you found them. So this is very interesting. So each race that you have in the game can also have independent colonies that basically were left behind after collapse, and those can be found, and you can actually also just assimilate them. I think, I'm not really sure how the mechanics are in this version of the game, but if I remember correctly from Distant Worlds Universe, you had also the possibility to assimilate people from other cultures if you found their colonies. So, of course, you could always conquer them if you wanted to. But yeah, independent colonies are there for you to take into your empire, or of course for the AI to do that. So I don't think I want these on normal. Normally I would have these on rare, because I think there shouldn't be too many of these. Then of course colony influence range, that basically determines the borders of your empire. So the bigger you set that, the larger your borders will be. And actually with rare colony prevalence, I would actually set that a little bit higher, because you have less colonies to spread your borders, so you will need to spread them out further. I would say the same about colonization range limit. So what this does is, if it's the same as in the previous game, let me just read quickly. If turned on, you can actually turn that off if you want to. Okay, so yeah, this determines how far away from an existing colony your new colonies can be. Now, I don't know how these numbers translate into the game. I really know that. I think in the previous game it was sectors, and now we have million whatever. I don't know how that translates onto the map. I will have to read up on that. Since we are not going to start a game here, I will just leave that on this. Or will I turn it up? Or will I turn it off? Well, let's turn it off actually. No, let's increase it, because we have rare colony prevalence, so maybe a higher number should be doing the trick here. So yeah, that's these options. Then next we can select the race. Let's have a look here. We have 7 races. Okay, so this is not like Stellaris where you can have infinite races basically, because they are coupled together from different things. Like you have a picture, then you have traits and stuff like that, and you can select the government and stuff. So it's not like that here. It's really, these are preset races, because as I already said, there's a lore behind this game, and all these races have backstories, and they have story events, they have stories and stuff happening to them. There's a lot of lore behind this, which means you can't have random races. Maybe, okay, there is random here, but that just means that it selects one of these at random, and you don't know which race you will play before you actually start the game. So maybe in an update we'll get an empire configurator or something like that. Maybe that will happen in the future, I don't know. But as it stands now, you only have these preset races, and I think that's pretty much how it was in the previous game as well. You didn't have a race or an empire editor there. So what you could do there, and I think it's probably the same in this game, you could very easily make your own empire by just modding it in. So modding was mostly done through text files, and then you also needed a few sprites and stuff. But since it was 2D and nothing was animated, basically, it was very easy to do. So if you wanted your own race, it was no problem at all to make that. It might be a little bit more different here, because you have actually animated portraits as far as I have seen. So it will be a little bit more difficult, I think, at least if you want animated portraits and stuff. But I feel like the race text files will be easily moddable as well here. I think that is the case, because actually the game is still very moddable from what I have heard. But let's have a look at these races here. So you have Actarians, which are semi-aquatic marine mammals, so basically dolphins that can also walk on land. And they have a backstory, as I already said. And then they have a lot of stuff going on over here. Now, what is all of that? Let's have a look here. So they have a personality, which will basically determine how they will behave if they are an AI. So that these first 3 will not matter for you if you're playing them, but it will matter for you if you have to interact with an AI playing them, because you have aggression, caution, dependability. So these obviously are modifiers to diplomatic behavior. Then the reproduction rate will matter even for you, because that means how fast your empire will grow, how fast your population will grow. Then how likely are they to migrate? So migrate within your territory to other colonies, and also, of course, migrate to other empires if they have policies allowing that. Then you have an assimilation rate, which basically, I think, what was that in the previous game? I think that determines how easy they are to assimilate into another empire. I'm not really sure about that. Then you have colonization modifiers, because there are a lot of different planet types. And do I see that right? We have ocean and deep ocean, and we have desert savanna. We have 3 different types of desert here. So it seems to me there are more planet types here than in the previous game. I don't remember having a deep ocean there. I think it was only ocean. And I don't think we had that many deserts as well. Yeah, well, we'll have a look at that. And as you can see by these modifiers, since these are aquatic life forms, they obviously have a big bonus to colonizing ocean worlds, and they have a penalty to desert worlds. However, I think that is too low. I mean, just minus 10%. I mean, they are aquatic, they can live on desert worlds. This penalty should be higher, actually. But yeah, anyway, this is easily moddable. If you want to change that, you can just dig into the deck text files and change it. So bonuses, they also get bonuses, research, construction. Yeah, a bunch of bonuses here. And then they have bias towards other races, so they seem to dislike everyone. Is that right? They don't have a positive modifier with anyone. Okay, but they have a few. The Pascara, they don't like the Pascara, and the Tayut, whatever that is. But they seem to somewhat like the Securan, and they're also okay with human Tcon, whatever, or Tcon. So, but it's all negative here. So then that's interesting as well here. They have governments. They have a preferred government, or 2 actually here, which means if the AI is playing this empire, they will have one of these 2. And if you are playing them, this basically means allowed governments. You can select any of these, but you can't select any government that is not in this list. So you are, depending on the race you're playing, you might be forbidden to take on certain governments. Actually, let's have a look if we find one with a shorter list here. So that's the things about your civilization that you need to consider if you're selecting one. And let's just have a look here what else we have. So we have the Pascara. These are insectoids. And if we go down, they seem to have also a long list. So they have a hive mind options which the other ones didn't have. They don't have hive mind, right? No, they don't have hive mind. So that's only reserved for these guys. They have pretty strong modifiers, like they are really aggressive. They are completely undependable, very unreliable. So yeah, they do reproduce quite fast, and they're really hard to assimilate into another empire. They have a lot of modifiers when it comes to planets, and there's really a lot of planets that I don't know from the previous games. So carbonaceous, frozen ice. We did have ice planets in the previous game, but I don't think we had more than one variant. Sulfur volcanic, so we have several volcanic options here as well. Yeah, okay. Colonization minimum quality. So I don't know what that does actually. Was that in the first game? I don't remember. So this seems to be the minimum quality a planet has to have so they can actually colonize it. Yeah, we'll have to read into that. I'm not really sure what exactly the mechanics are here. So bonuses, they also get bonuses, obviously. They have a diplomacy penalty. Yeah, I would have a diplomacy penalty as well if I would look like that. And they really hate everyone. They really hate... Oh, jeez, they really hate everyone. Almost everyone. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and... oh, of course, down here we have the default... infantry. I think that's the garrison you get on each colony or something like that. I don't really know, but that's their infantry that they get. So infantry gameplay in this game, if it's anything like in the first one, it's not that deep, but it doesn't really matter. It's a space game, it's not a ground combat game. So what else do we have? We have Coonish. These are reptilians. Okay. Yeah, we'll not look at all this stuff here because the video will get too long if we do that. Then you have your standard humans here, nothing special at all, but they're a good race if it's anything like in the first game to for your first playthrough, because they are very balanced. I think they don't have any penalties when it comes to colonization. They have a lot of bonuses here. They do have some problems when it comes to diplomacy, apparently. But yeah, anyway, so they have good government types they can choose from. So yeah, that's a good starting race if it's anything like in the first game, and it does look like it's if I just look at the stats here, it does seem all right. Okay, I mean, you get bonus income, bonus research, bonus diplomacy, you get less war weariness, and so that's very powerful actually. And having no colonization penalties means you can basically colonize everything you want. So that's nice. So we have the Mortalidae. These are half mammal, half reptile. Now, how does that work? How can you be half mammal and half reptile? Okay, that's interesting. Oh, they're very dependable, so they make good allies, but they're also very aggressive. So you want to have them on your side. You want to have them on your side. You can't simulate them easily. So they, yeah. Okay, they have a few things going on here. Yeah, nothing too special. So we have the Tcon. These are, what are these? Rodents. They seem to be peaceful. Migration tendency. They migrate a lot. They are easy to assimilate. They have a lot of modifiers going on here. I don't know what that is. I mean, the humans didn't have any of this colonization minimum quality. I really have to look into this. I don't know what that does. And then, of course, we have our felines. Yeah, you have to have cat people in a Space 4X game. They're very cautious apparently. They don't reproduce that much. Yeah, whatever. They have a lot of modifiers going on. Okay, that's these guys. So these are the 7 races you can select from. I guess we'll have more races with DLC that are sure to come in the future, because the first game did have DLC, so this one will have as well. I'm pretty sure about that, and I'm actually looking forward to this. This is a game that can easily be expanded upon, and it's also a game that's easily moddable. So you will see a lot of mods for this. There are tons of mods for the first one, actually pretty good ones. So if you want to play a Star Wars or Star Trek Space 4X game, knock yourself out. You will find great mods for that for the first game, and I'm pretty sure you will see that for this game as well. So let's move on here. So what do we have here? We have, oh, what did we select actually? Oh, Xenox. No, we want the humans here. So let's just type in the Terran, the good old Terran Empire here. The flag is alright. Democracy. Do we want dictatorship? Okay, that seems to be good. War weariness, reduction, diplomacy, colony happiness, colony corruption reduction, tourism income, trading. But do you get a lot of bonuses here? Military dictatorship. That's nice. Monarchy. Okay, so governments are also just, you select one and that's what you get. You can't change that. You can't mix and match your governments in this game. It's not like other modern 4X games where you can really fine-tune your governments. I don't know if there's anything like edicts or stuff like that in this game. I will have to have a look at that. I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, you select the government and basically you get all these bonuses. I would really have to have a look at that to dive in deeper, but what is that? Democracy. It doesn't really matter. We don't play. We just have a look at the game. So I have to remind myself that I'm not setting up a game here, because I really want to mess with these options all the time. So your starting situation, that is now, we already had the starting situation of the galaxy as a whole, and now we can select that for our empire here. So what you can do is you can select how your home system will be. Will it be harsh, which basically means you have a very shitty planet and very few resources in your home system? And that is actually very important, because you will stay for quite a while within your home system. It will be quite a while before you can actually go out and colonize other systems. So if you have a really bad home system, this will really hinder your progress early on in the game. And if the AI, for example, gets good home systems, they will jump ahead of you really fast. So that has a huge impact. And as well, if you just want to get off the ground really fast, you can have an excellent system here, and you will have probably multiple colonies within your starting system. You will have lots of resources, and you will have an easy time early on in the game. So you can do that however you want. So we'll actually just leave it on normal here. Then expansion. Now this is interesting here. You can have that on random. We already said that for the galaxy, which means the galaxy is all pre-warp and starting, but you can say, okay, but I want to be an old empire. You will be the only one in the game if you do that. It can also be tech level 7, which basically means no one will be able to hurt you, because, yeah, okay. But if you like to punish yourself, what you can also do, and I've seen players do that in the first game, and there will be players doing it here just for the challenge of it. You can go to rand starting and pre-warp, which is what I recommend, because I really think that early period where you are stuck within your system, that's my most favorite period in the game. I really like to play that, to be in my home system, explore that, build up, and get the warp technology going and stuff. So that's my most favorite setup. But what you can do to punish yourself, you go to starting and pre-warp for your civilization and set everyone else, so basically the galaxy, to old and level 7. Now what that will mean is you will just die. As soon as you make contact with another empire, you will just freaking die. But I think there are players who are able to actually turn the tide around and win the game with a start like this, starting in pre-warp, everyone else at old and level 7, and they still manage to come out on top, basically. So yeah, I don't know, maybe if you're really lucky and really good. But yeah, this is something you could do. That's what I like about this game. You have all these options. You can really tailor this game to whatever experience you like, to whatever challenge or non-challenge you like. You can turn this into a sandbox as well. I think you can turn off all the victory conditions. So you can just basically play a sandbox, have your own story emerge here, and then that's it. So it's really cool. You can really have whatever challenge and set up what you want. You can mix and match. You don't have to do the same for everyone. I think you can set up your own races that you will play against, and they have some detailed options as well if it's anything like in the first game. So we'll see that hopefully in another screen. But it's really cool. You can really mess around with these options and set up the game however you like it. Then you can also set your starting location within the galaxy. You can say you want to start in the core. You can start in the outer core, which is the worst option because you will have empires left and right fighting you. Or you can go to the far regions, which is actually the most safe options because you are basically on the outer outskirts here and can expand inwards, and you will have fewer direct neighbors like that way. So that's actually my preferred option to play this. So far regions, so we'll actually do that. That is all. Or do I want to go to agreeable? Yeah, I like to have a little bit of a head start. So we'll not play. I have to say that again. We'll not play here. We'll just have a look at the game. So yeah, we can now set the other empires. Now what it will do now is auto-generate 12. So this will generate 12 random empires for you based on the galaxy settings. That is important to note here. The galaxy settings will determine what kind of empires you get here in terms of how big their empires are and what their technology level is. With our settings here, this will be pre-warp and starting. Or of course you can say you turn that off and then you can add your own empires. Yeah, nice. So let's, it's 7 races, so we'll need 6. Yeah, Actarian, then Pascara, Coonish, then we are playing humans, so we don't need these. Mortalidae, Tcon, Xenox. So these are the 6 empires you can get. And now this is interesting. It's the same more or less as in the previous game. You can set tech level and expansion for each one of these separately. So if you want like one empire that is really powerful from the start, you can set that here. You can be like, okay, the Pascara are level 7 and old. And then what's interesting here, I really like this. I mean, let's consider this. You have one empire that is level 7 and old. That will just mop the floor with everyone. But what you can do then is basically like, okay, these guys are very distant. And everyone else is nearby. You see what I'm doing here? So basically that means this powerful empire will be powerful, but it will be very far away from you. So it will give you some time to build up your forces, and you could basically try to ally yourself with all these other races which are nearby with you. So basically you will be clustered in one corner of the galaxy and the other guys will be on the other end of the galaxy, something like that. This is a setup you could try. It is not guaranteed to work because they might be closer than you wish for, and they probably also would not go level 7 and old, maybe something like, I don't know, level 3 and mature, something like that. So because otherwise they will probably just stomp all of your friends out. But yeah, that's something you can do. So what is that? No, let's get starting here and let's just say random for all of that. So that's something you can do as well. You can just basically, or if you want to have your piece at the start of the game, you basically go, okay, all of these are very distant. So they will be clustered on the other side of the galaxy. They will have a lot of problems with each other, and you can just basically peacefully expand and build your empire on the other side of the galaxy. So that's something you can do as well. As I said, you can customize this game to whichever to whatever you want. So it's really cool. You can also set their home system. So let's say you observe a certain race to be not very well balanced and basically get destroyed early in each game or become very powerful in each game. You could try to notch them in the other direction by adjusting their home system. So if they're too powerful, you go with a trying or harsh system. If they seem too weak, you give them an excellent system to start with. And you can, so from game to game, try to balance stuff out. You can even say what kind of the treaties you already have with them. Relation level. That is interesting. You can also set that with an empire you haven't met on the map even. So that's interesting. But we'll leave it like it is here. 6 empires, because there's 7 races, and I really like to have just one empire per race. So we can have several of the same. So we already have a Xenox here. We can have a second Xenox. Doesn't matter. We can also say one is a democracy and the other one is a hive mind. Whatever. So you can do that, okay? You can do whatever the hell you want. You can do whatever the hell you want. Which is one of the things that makes these distant world games so brilliant. So let's see what we have next. Victory conditions. What do we have here? So we have these victory conditions. You can have territory, population, economy, and then race conditions, and then threshold. So these are simple. Control that amount of territory here. I always feel like 75% is a little bit harsh in such a big galaxy. Because if you go to 51, you will have to control basically 1,000 star systems, which is already pretty messed up. Actually, I like to turn population off, because territory and economy is what matters, not population. These are those, and then race victory conditions. So as I said, there's a lot of lore behind each race, and so we have race-specific victory conditions that you can turn on, and that is a victory condition that only works for the race you are playing. Then you have victory threshold. Basically, that means how much of that needs to be fulfilled. So you have 4 options. Or is it just how close you are overall? Maybe you don't even need to have 51. If you're just close enough to 51, it might also trigger. Let's go with 100%. It's not really that much here. So start date years. What does that do? Okay, so victory conditions only apply after a certain amount of years have passed. So basically, you can only win after a set amount of time. And then time limit years, yeah, that's self-explanatory. So obviously, how many years it will be until the end of the game. And whatever is the strongest empire at the time will just win. Then you have story events, so there's a story in the game that will play out on the random map each time you play the game. Then you have race-specific story events, so each race also have some story events, and of course you have colony events that are pretty cool, so you want that as well normally. Yeah, that's basically all the settings. So let's have a look at the game itself. Let's start this. Yeah, let's look at this beautiful picture of a spaceship in orbit here. Let's wait for it to load up. So we have a progress bar down there. I just hope it doesn't take like 10 minutes or something, I don't know. And now we have our yeah, it has started. So what is that? Terran Empire. Yeah, we'll not go into that. This is a greeting message. You get that when you start the game, and then it will zoom in on your planet, I guess. Nice. And we'll immediately pause. To the stars! Yeah, whatever. No, actually, let's pause. So this is not a message. I think that's tutorial or something. City ruins, whatever. So we have city ruins here, apparently on this planet. Let's have a look at the planet screen. Yeah, ancient city ruins. So these give colony bonuses. We'll have a look at that in a moment. So let's dismiss that. So we have a starship. Our first starship, which is a... This is a science vessel. Yep, exploration ship. So what else do we have? Unknown items detected. So we have items at our planet. So there's items in the game. That wasn't in the game previously, I think. It was not in the Distant Worlds universe. So we have a new leader. So there are leaders in the game. You can assign them posts and you can move them around. You have... do we have several types of leaders, or you just have one type? I'm not really sure. I will have to look that up. So let's dismiss that stuff here. We have taken a look at all of that. Let's get rid of that. So this is our ship here. Nice. This is our planet. So let's have a look at the graphics first. And I really like how it did zoom in, because that's actually one of the features, one of the other features I like about this game. So you don't click on systems. You can, I think, double click. No, I'm not really sure. Let me see. Can you double click? No, you can't. So you don't click on systems to change into a different map. There's not a galaxy map and a system map. There's just a map. Now, of course, it will change the view if you scroll in, but so you can see how it switches from galaxy to system, but it's completely seamless. And you will also see if your ships move. You can actually already see here. You have your star, and the ship is not. Your ship is actually between the star and your colony, and you see your colony and your science ship out here. So you can already see, even though you don't see the planets, you do see that there is how shall I put it? There's a dimension to it. It's not just a dot on the map that you have to select to go to a different map view. This is within the galaxy map, and if you zoom in, it just changes how it displays that, but it's within the same map. Within the same general what the hell? Did J.J. Abrams mess with this game? Why is there lens flaring? No, please not. Let me have a look here. Do we have lens flare? Display, graphics. Oh yeah, we have lens flare apparently. Okay, let's turn that off for Christ's sakes. Return to game. So yeah, let's turn that off and let's have a look at the graphics here. So this is the star. Is this animated? Yes, it is. This is the star. Then we have these planets here. That doesn't have clouds. Let's go to our colony here. That's actually another planet. Deep ocean planet. Oh, that's nice. Unexplored. So this is a second colonizable planet within our solar system here. Let's have a look at these cloud layers here. Are they animated? Oh yes, they certainly are. They are animated. Planets rotate. Okay, that is nice. Planets did rotate, of course, in the last game as well. It was just in 2D, but generally the planets looked very nice and they rotated. Now, one thing I've already read about the game is that planets do not orbit and moons do not orbit as well. Is that right? Let me have a look here. The planet rotates, but the moon and the planet, they both stay completely stationary. Yes, they do, which is unfortunate. So why am I disappointed here? In the previous game, Distant Worlds Universe, you just have to imagine this is a 2D top-down solar system, because that's what you had there. It looked basically the same, just it wasn't 3D, it was 2D and from top down. But what was really cool there is that planets would orbit around the sun and moons would orbit around their planets. And that was just a really nice touch because it added a lot of immersion and realism to the game. It's not really needed, but it was nice. And the system wouldn't look the same all the time you came back here. So maybe now the planet is over here with your colony, and then you go somewhere else, mess around with something else, and then you come back to your system and suddenly the planet is over here. That has always been really nice, and it added some sort of dynamic to your solar system. It made it harder to defend because you couldn't just have, like, I don't know, no, actually it didn't, because you could assign fleets to protect the specific planet, and you could have orbital station around the planet which would stay with the planet, obviously. So no, that actually didn't really actually didn't really have any drawbacks. It was just nice and cool, and now we don't have it. And I don't really get why. I mean, yeah, it's 3D, but at the end of the day, we do have these orbits. And what prevents these planets from moving on these orbits? Why? I don't know. I really like that. I mean, we even have the orbits for these moons. So why don't they move on this orbit? Is this a feature that will be added later? I really hope so, because I really like that in the previous game. It's not really needed, but it's nice to have. And another thing, this is 3D, but I can only rotate around one axis. Yep, I can only rotate around this one axis. I cannot look underneath the planet. Don't like that, but I'm pretty sure we'll have mods unlocking the camera at some point, because it's clearly fully 3D. It's just that the camera is fixed to this angle. I don't like that. Why is it? Well, if you have 3D, the whole point of having 3D is that you can have the freedom of movement. So if you have a fixed angle, then you can just, well, then you might just as well have 2D sprites to look at. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, whatever. It's not a big issue. It's just something that I wanted to add here. And I really like how detailed these planets are. I mean, Jesus, look at this. And it looks beautiful as it rotates, and the animated clouds and stuff. So this is really beautiful, actually. Now it is much more detailed than the previous 2D game was, obviously. But normally you would not zoom in so close to your planets. Normally you would not do that. So yeah, that's that. So let's have a look at things here. So if we select that, we get a colony screen. That actually looks pretty similar to the previous game. I think it's more or less the same information in here. So we have development of the colony, corruption level, monetary information, revenue, tax income, happiness, population growth. This can be influenced by a variety of factors, I believe. Then we do not have any resources on here. Interesting. So we do have an unknown resource that we would first have to explore. Actually, can we do that? What is that? Fading price. So this is our this is a construction ship that can't do anything. This is the Galactic Solace. So let's have a look. This is the ship, and it is automated. So let's control it manually, and let's say refuel. No, don't refuel. Please go and No, not refuel. Can you please? Can you not? I should get the context menu when right-clicking on this, I believe. Manually control. Yeah. What the hell? So I select it and okay, the previous game, if I would right-click here, it would explore the planet, or it would give me a context menu what you can do here. Or do I need to left-click? No. Do I need to shift right, control right? Oh, okay, control right for some reason. Okay. Survey this planet. So okay, we'll let that running in the back. Survey will take 2 minutes to do that. Oh, that's nice. Do you see how it spits out little ships that go and survey the planet? Or is it probes or something? That is really nice. That is really, I love that. I love that. I mean, in the previous game, the ship would just basically hover above the planet or go near it and it would survey it. That is nice. That's really nice. I like that. I like that. That is nice. So it's surveying it. We should get some resources here. So we have facilities, ancient human city ruins. We can probably get other stuff here as well. Buildings that we build. We have troops, so we have a leader. And then we have some ground forces here that will defend the planet if we should get attacked. And then you have a building queue. So this planet is building a space station, so a spaceport basically. And it will also be, the spaceport will then be building, or no, the planet will then be building construction ships. No, this is a small freighter. Small freighters and a mining ship. Okay, these are civilian ships. I will talk about these a little bit later. So, are you finished here? 42 seconds still. So, do we already know something here? No, we don't. What else do we have? We have asteroids here. Nice. We have a moon. So all of these asteroids, planets, moons will give you something. They either have resources, or they can be colonized, or they might have a scenery bonus, which means you can make them into a tourist attraction, stuff like that. So you can interact with all the bodies you actually see here. So this will be finished in a few seconds, and then we'll have a look at the resources on this planet here. And 3, 2, 1, 0. We have discovered new resources, and it's continuing to do. Oh, there's a second resource. It needs to scan for that as well. Okay, we'll let it do that. So we have polymer. This is a strategic resource, I think. And do we have a resource tab somewhere? What is up here? Resources. Okay, that doesn't seem to be too... it's just a list. Do we have something else? This construction is okay. Let me see. Down here we have... Where's the minimap actually? Where is the... Don't we have a minimap? Zoom, zoom, zoom. Apparently we don't have a minimap. I don't see one. Okay, that's weird. We had minimap in the previous game, so we don't have that. Whatever. So but these are map icons. I guess it doesn't have a minimap because we can just do this. That's basically your minimap here. Yeah, there was a minimap in the previous game. But these are map things here. So we have resource flow. Oh, these are the resources here. Okay. So you see there's a lot of resources in this game, and you will have Aculon. So, some are yellow, some are pink, whatever. Blue. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that... let's turn it off. Yeah, but you basically have, I think, strategic resources that you will need to build stuff, and you will need for fuel, and then you have luxury resources that will be will give bonuses to your colonies. So there's a lot of stuff here that you have, as you can see, and it looks like most of the resources from the first game make a comeback here, and I think I also see a few new ones. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So let's go back to our system. Let me warn you that I might have to sneeze. So it's still exploring that planet. Oh, there's more resources here, so it's just continue to do its thing. So we'll just leave it then. So surveying planets seems to take a lot longer now. Interesting. So yeah, that's your colony there. And if we look at the ship, I already talked about resources. So let's have a look at the ship. If we click on it and if I zoom out, yeah, nice. So this, let me see. So this is the maximum range of your ship. If it's fully fueled, it has almost full fuel. So there is fuel in this game, and that's something I really love as well. More Space 4X games should do this because fuel is a really cool gameplay mechanic. It limits the range of your ships. It makes you have to have a refueling network. You have to have refueling stations. So fuel is basically taken from gas giants. These are different gases that you can use for fuel. And you need to have gas mining stations where your ships can refuel. You can also refuel at spaceports and at planets. And it really limits the range of your fleet. So let's say you are in a war. Let's say you are in a war and your enemy is over here, in this cluster over here. But your fuel range for your ships is only going until here. So if you want to attack the guy over here, you will have to have refueling stations along the perimeter of your territory to have your ships refuel here and then attack the guy over here. There's also tankers in the game, so basically you can build tankers to send along with your fleet or maybe to station in these systems here so your fleet can go back and refuel if they need to. So that's a really nice mechanic. I really love that. There are people who are complaining about this, but I myself I really like this mechanic. And we have a black hole here. Yeah, we have a black hole here. Or is this a wormhole? It doesn't look like a black hole. Is this a wormhole maybe? Do we find a black hole somewhere? This seems to be a neutron star. There are black holes in the previous game. I will guess they will be in this game. Are these black holes? I hope these are not black holes because they do not look like black holes. Black holes look completely different. So I'm not really sure what that is. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see once we play the game actually, which is not today. So yeah, that's that. What else about your planet? I think that's it more or less. So let's have a look what your planet can do. You can manage troops. What is that? Decrease tax, increase tax. Yeah, you can set taxes at a per planet level. Then you have troop management, build facilities. You can build stuff, not now because we don't have researched anything. You can build ship or base, and you can set colony automation. So we can set automate tax rates, automate infantry recruitment, automate resource stock, automate population policy, army template. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with your colony here. That's that. I just see something down here. Okay, this is a system overview. That is new as well. We didn't have that in the last game, I think. I'm not entirely sure. So this is ships. Yeah, I was under the impression that there was something on the right side of the screen in the previous game. Okay, we see that this is a colony because it has a flag underneath it, and then we have a grassland planet, a deep ocean planet, so we actually have two other planets that we could colonize. Then, of course, volcanic planets can be colonized. This is a desert planet, it can be colonized as well. Sandy desert, this should be colonizable, this should be colonizable. So there's a lot of colonizable stuff going on here. We only have one gas giant though. Interesting. Most of the time you have more than one. Let me have a look at this guy. Okay, beautiful rings here. Yeah, it has a diameter. Interesting. Exploration level, yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. And if we zoom, oh, that is nice. So if we zoom out, I guess we get one icon for each system that we own, but I'm really curious to see what it does when we have like 200 systems. It will be interesting to see that. And once we zoom in, it switches automatically to the system view, and we have the ships up here, which is cool. We have small freighters here, fading price. You see all your ships that are in this system. Oh, and I really like the night side graphics here with the cities. Nice. Okay, that's that. So let's have a look at the empire ledger up here. So we have Terran Empire. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. So we have obviously our cash. We have income, colony tax, and tribute. Yeah, you can collect tribute if you want to. We have ship base maintenance, troop maintenance, facility maintenance, tribute paid, colony growth. So we can invest money into colony growth. Okay, interesting. And you have your expenses, cash flow, shipbuilding, annual bonus income. Yeah, now that's where it gets interesting. And then you have the private economy down here. Yeah, let me quickly talk about that, because that's also a feature that I really like about Distant Worlds. So on one side you have your empire, which you are controlling. You are deciding where space stations get built. You are deciding where to colonize if you want to. You don't have to, actually. I will show you about automation later. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here going on in your empire that you can do or not do, whatever you choose. But then you have a private economy which you cannot control. The private economy is basically completely out of your control, in the sense that they decide what to do. Now, they will not build space stations or colonize planets, but what they will do, let's say you have your colony here, let's say you have a mining station over here and another colony here. What will happen is the private economy will see, okay, he has a mining station there, and then he has a spaceport over here that will need resources that are mined over here. Then they will build ships, go over here, collect your resources, and bring them back to your spaceport. And they will also see, okay, he has a colony here and he has another colony over here, which means they will just ferry people between these two colonies. And let's say you have a tourist station over here at the gas giant because he has such beautiful rings, then they will also ferry tourists from both your colonies over to the gas giant. So that's what the private economy will do. They will buy ships from you. That's this bonus income actually here. They will buy ships from you. You will get money for that, and then they will transport goods and people around. You don't have to do that. Actually, you can't do that. The private economy will do that for you, which is pretty nice, because no government ferries around goods and people. That's always done by private companies. They may be hired by the government in some cases, but it's always done by private companies. So that's actually a really nice way to depict that, to model this economy here in this game. So you will have a lot of ships going around. Probably you will have more ships than you will probably have more private ships than state ships, which is normal. You have more. You have much more ships and vehicles and stuff and airplanes and whatnot on Earth that are privately owned than what you have in terms of state-owned stuff. So that's completely normal, and I really like that level of realism in this game. And let me have a look here. So the thing here is, with the private economy, it can go to shit if you don't be careful. They need money. They have their own cash. They have their own cash flow. They have their own income and expenses. So if you are not careful and they run out of money, they will no longer be able to buy ships, repair ships, upgrade ships, replace ships, which means your economy can collapse. Your trade network, your resource flow, your migration, your tourism, everything might come to a stop if your private economy runs out of money. And that can easily happen if you have a war. I mean, your private ships will just get attacked as well as your military ships. So that can absolutely happen. And you have a huge influence on your private economy, just like governments have in real life. So if your economy is struggling, if they don't have enough money, if they have negative cash flow or whatever that might be the case, if you look here, you have colony taxes here that are paid by your private economy, 1738. And if you look up here, the colony tax that you are getting is actually what the private economy is paying you. So what you can do, basically, can lower these taxes or can completely abolish these taxes, which means all that money here will go into the pockets of the private economy, which means they have more cash available to buy new ships, repair their ships, and upgrade their ships, which in terms will obviously strengthen the economy, which is exactly how it is in real life, if a government wants to strengthen its economy, it's usually, it can do other things as well, of course, but it also can reduce taxes for the economy, which means less taxes means more money in the pockets of the corporations and in the pockets of the people as well. So that means there will be more things will be consumed, more things will be produced, more money will be invested, and your economy will grow. So it's of course very simplified here, but it is absolutely realistic in a sense that you as the government do not directly control your economy, but you can influence it with your decisions. The other thing is, your economy will really flourish as long as you expand. So as long as you build new mining stations, new tourist stations, as long as you expand by founding new colonies and stuff like that, your economy, your private economy will absolutely flourish, because there's so many new opportunities where they can send their ships and do business. And once you start to stagnate, or even basically recline or whatever, or basically if your empire shrinks because of warfare or whatever, your economy will suffer, okay? It will no longer be the gold mine it was one while you were expanding. And it's actually a problem for many empires in the history, was as long as they could expand and take new lands and conquer new lands and exploit their resources and stuff, their economy would be absolutely booming. And once the empires reach their zenith, basically if they reach the greatest extent and could no longer expand further, their economy will begin to struggle. And you might see that in this game as well. That's something I really like about this game, is how realistic it is in these kinds of things. A lot of other games don't do stuff like that, and I really think it adds a layer of realism that is hard to find in other games. And I really like that, because realism for me is almost equal with immersion. So basically translates almost one-to-one into immersion, and I really like immersion in these games. So that is really nice to see that. It was of course already like this in the previous game, which is really nice. So they kept that, and I really like the level of information you're getting here. That's really, really nice. So in terms of ships for your private economy, so they will order these at your planets and space stations. They will get them from there, the same space stations and planets where you build your ships. And although you can not build those ships yourself and have any influence over how many ships get built, you can do these designs manually. So you can decide how these ships look. We'll have a look at that later. So let's go through these ledgers here. So funding levels. So what is that? Income. This is your income you have. Then you can reserve some of that directly for your stockpile. That's nice. Okay, that's basically this up here. Yeah, your cash. Then you can spend on ship maintenance, troop maintenance. No, I don't know. Isn't ship maintenance, troop maintenance just what it is? I don't get it. Why would I have? I mean, a ship maintenance is what it is. I can't spend less on what I need than what I need to. How does this work? I don't think that was in the previous game. I don't recall having to mess with that. Yeah, I'll have to read into what that is. I don't know why. I mean, I always thought ships and troops and facilities just cost what they cost each month or so. So why would I have to adjust spending for that? Well, I don't know. So excess, you can have an excess cash flow, and you can put that either into colony growth or into research, which will increase. Okay. So if you that is nice. I think that's new actually. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that is new. So, or if it's not new, I never found it in the previous game. I mean, these games are massive, as you can see, so some things just slip through your fingers. So that is really nice. So you can put excess money into colony growth and research, which means these things get accelerated. Oh, that is nice to know. That is nice to know. Yeah, and it's automated. We'll have a look at automation once we find it. So maintenance, this will exactly tell you what kinds of stuff you have that is requiring maintenance, all your military ships, other state ships, and you can see the fuel tanker we talked about here, stuff like that. And then you have private ships. You can also see how much they are paying, but that is not going away from your money. It should be more clear here. But it isn't. It looks like this is all stuff you have to pay. No, that is not money you have to pay. That's paid by the private economy here. If you go back here, you can see that these are the 378 that we have here. Okay. So what else? Government, military dictatorship, have a revolution. We can't do that right now. Empire bonuses from all resources. Oh, that is cool. No, that is cool. Okay, we see, I don't know if the previous game had this information, but we see all empire bonuses added up, and if we mouse over it, it will tell us where these bonuses come from. It will tell us every source and how much is coming from that. Now that is a nice overview to have, really. That is a really nice overview to have. Cool. It's almost like a paradox game in that regard, huh? So then we have our leader here. Our leader has skills, he has traits, he has a location. We can transfer him to another location if we want to. And yeah, that's his event list here, what he did. So he's animated. Looks alright. It's a little bit blurry. Is that why? Because I increased the interface size? I don't know. What? Why did I click on research? What the hell? So apparently I just clicked on the research tab. Where did I do that? I don't know. We'll have a look at the research in a moment. So policy settings. So now that is what I have been looking for. So this is the big thing here. This is the big feature here. Yeah, you can automate absolutely freaking everything in this game. If you don't want to play the game, you don't have to. You can set up your empire and then just leave it run on its own. That's what you can do. Now, of course, you can do that with a lot of games these days. But the thing here is, look at this. If we have a look at this list, look at how much stuff is going on here. That's just the topmost list I just expanded here. You have a lot of lists here, and I expanded the topmost of these. Jesus Christ, look at that. So let me see here. You can... Okay, you have 4 levels of automation. You have... If we look at colonization, you can have fully automated. You can have suggest and execute, which means... Okay, the game will make suggestions, and if you don't do anything about it, it will just execute them. Okay, so basically automation with a delay. Then you can have suggestions. Basically, the game will tell you there's a planet to colonize, and then you can either do it or ignore it, whatever you want to do. And then, of course, you have manual, which means you do everything. And it seems that all these options here have, also all these things here have either 2 options, fully automated and fully manual, or they have these 4 steps. And you can see there's a lot of stuff you can automate or manually do. So really, if there's anything in the game that you don't like, you can just automate it. If you don't want to deal with colonization, you can just tell the game, colonize whatever you can. If you don't want to mess around with the military, you can just tell your game to completely automate your military. You can even automate diplomacy, you can automate construction, colonies, everything, absolutely everything. Let's have a look at exploration. Okay, there's not much going on here. Just 3 options basically. Colonization, we already had that. You can also say, okay, only colonize above that suitability level. You can independent colonization minimum success where you will try that. Okay. Colonies and tax rates, you can automate that stuff. As you can see, most of it seems to be automated by default. Then your construction, you can say, okay, you want to have ship and base design automated or manually. Ship construction, these should be all on manual, that is all right. Then you can have diplomacy, yeah, everything. So chess. Then you can have military. Attack overmatch factor. Oh, that's nice. Okay, you can exactly tell your game when it should attack and when it should not attack. Automatically repair manual ships, whatever. Yeah. Oof, there's a lot of stuff going on here in the military tab. Jesus, guys, we'll not have a detailed look at that because it will take too long. Then we have troops, we have fleets, fleet formation, automated fleet ship management, fleet postures. That I would have that on manual as well. Military ship notifying to fleet, usually 0, I don't know. Research, you can automate research or can manually control it. And then you have intelligence missions, which basically means, yeah, espionage. Oh, why is there espionage in this game? I hate espionage, Jesus Christ. So yeah, I don't want that. That is something I would definitely automate because I absolutely hate espionage. Yeah, whatever. So that's also in the game. So you can see there's a lot of stuff to automate or not automate here. You can mess around with that. So it's very important when you start a new game to have a look here and see what you want to control manually and what you want to have automated. Because if you don't have a look at this, you will not know what is going on. The game will just randomly do stuff and you don't know why. So you really need to know what in your game is automated and what do you have to do yourself. So the cool thing is that for a lot of that you have advisors. So basically if you leave it on suggest, the game will tell you that you should do something and then you can choose to do or to do not. But, well, as you can see, some of these are really just settings on how your ship should behave, on how your military should behave, on how, on how your colonies should behave or whatever. So you really need to have a look at this and set everything up. The cool thing is you had tooltips for everything, so it really tells you what it does. And you can really set up your game to whatever preferences you have. This is really, really fantastic here. So that's the last thing up here. So what else do we have? This is just the Empire tab here, huh? We are still in the leftmost tab. So we have diplomacy. Obviously we don't have any diplomacy right now because we don't have any contacts. I should have set up a few contacts when going into this. Yeah. Well, usually I don't care much about diplomacy, so I'm not really interested in that. Then we have our leader here. Didn't we have him already somewhere? Then we have our colonies. Then we have a bigger colony tab here than the one down here. Nice. There's a lot of information about the colony. So there is a detailed breakdown why your people are happy or not, whatever. Okay. What else do we have? We have exploration. So we have our exploration ship right there. Known ruins. We have ancient human city ruins, we already know that. Abandoned ships and bases, so you will find abandoned ships and bases throughout the universe and throughout the galaxy, and these give powerful bonuses. Some of these can be scrapped for research. Some of these can be taken over, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with these. What else we have? Special locations. Okay. Explored systems 1, unknown system 2006. Jesus Christ. So these are resources again. What resources do you own? There's an economy behind the resources actually that I don't really understand. I think you can buy resources on the market. I'm not really sure. Yeah, there's an economy behind that as you can see, but I don't really understand the mechanics behind that economy. So can't really tell you much. Then you have mining locations. Where can you mine which resource? Then you have new mining locations, which basically these are locations you already mine. and these are resources you could potentially mine. Then you see your mining ships. This cannot be controlled by you because it's a civilian ship. So as soon as it sees a planet where there is a resource, it will go and mine that. Then you have fuel tankers over here, of which we have none right now. Then what else do we have? We have, oh, ship construction. Yeah, that's something we'll need to have a look at. This is your construction yard here. Then you have construction yard locations, construction ship. So we have one that will be used to build space stations and stuff. Then we have a build order here. We can set up build orders. I don't really know how this menu exactly works, but I will have a look at that later, obviously. So we have ship design. So this is interesting. Let's go and have a look at ship design. So this list here looks similar to the previous game. We have name, role, build, cost, maintenance, date created, size, amount, automatic design. Yeah, these are all automatic designs, and these are all active. So these are our ship designs we have. And yeah, let's have a look at the ship design. So where is the exploration ship? Yeah, let's edit. Let's have a look at this. So this is a ship designer. Oh, and this does not look good. Oh, guys, this game seems to have, yep, it seems to have slots. There are design bays over here, and as it looks, yep, these correspond to this list. So that's a list of the design. Okay, yeah, I feared as much. I have heard something about slots in this game. I just hoped it would not be the case, but apparently it is. So what is the problem here, guys? If you know Distant Worlds Universe, you know what the problem is. If you don't know it, let me try to explain. So as you can see, this 3D ship here has these slots here, and it seems like we have engine slots. These are the yellow ones. Then the green seem to be sensors. Then the red ones is a weapon. And what do we have back here? Another weapon. Then the blue one is defense. Okay, and you can also see those over here. So yeah, this ship has slots. And if we go back to Distant Worlds Universe, that game did not have slots on the ship. It only had size. And if we look to the right, yeah, design overview, you can see there's a ship size, okay? So in the previous game, you would have a maximum ship size you could build. Based on your technology, and you could fit components in your ship whichever way you liked, up until that maximum of the ship size you could build. I think it's also the same in Galactic Civilizations 3. I don't know about Galactic Civilizations 4. I haven't played that, and I won't, because I don't like some of the decisions they made there. But Galactic Civilizations 3 and also Distant Worlds Universe, both of these have, as far as I know, they don't have slots. They just have a ship size, a hull size, and you can build whatever ship you want. I mean, you can make a ship with just engines and fuel cells and generators, basically, to have a ship that can go really fast, really far, and if that's what you want, you can do that. If you want to have a lumbering, slow tank that is orbiting your home planet with tons of guns and armor and ships, but absolutely no propulsion whatsoever, of course you will need a little bit to maneuver and move around your planet, but you get the point. If you just want a ship that is really decked out in weapons and nothing else except the bare minimum, you can do that as well in these games. And since we have slots here, we can't. That is not good. Let me cancel this. Let's make a new one. Exploration. Okay, what's going on over here? Manually create. So now we have an empty ship here. So how do we add stuff to this? So this is yellow and this is yellow. And these are engines. So I feel like these should go in here. Do I drag and drop? No. Drag and drop. Do I select this? Okay, now something happened. Why does it... And how do I get these out? Okay, right click will empty. How did I get this in? Okay. So I have to have this selected, and then I can just click here. Let me do that again. Okay, and we'll get added, apparently. Does it work? So we have 2 ion engines. We'll need some directional thrusters. These are also yellow. These go in the same slots, apparently. So can we also click here? So we have this selected, and then yeah, okay. So I have to select this and then click OK. So what else do we have? We have seeking missile and long range cannon. So let me put a cannon here and the missile back here. Yeah, why not? We don't have defense, but we do have sensors. So survey module, where do I want that? That would make sense here. And then proximity array over here. So yeah, and then of course, if we have all that stuff on here, it will tell us that yeah, this ship will not work, basically. Need more crew, must have reactors, must have fuel storage. Need more crew? We have crew capacity? That is something new. Let me have a look here. Oh! There's a crew requirement. There's a crew requirement to these components now. So in the previous game, you would need crew modules, but it would not tell you how much crew you had on the ship. It would just basically tell you you need more crew modules. But we now have actually a crew count. That is nice. That is nice. So let's see here. Crew compartments. So we need a command center. That has also some crew in it, apparently. We also need basic crew system. Now we have enough crew. We'll need a... where's the reactor? Space reactor. There's a space reactor. Look at that thing there. So space reactor, we now have enough energy, and the rest can be fuel cell, basically. There's still one defect. We don't have enough crew. Okay. Where was it? Basic crew system. No, it's okay. 3 recommendations. What is that? Consider adding energy collectors. Okay. Yeah. Now let me show you what the problem with such a system here is. So as you can see, we still have size left on this ship. We have a size of 375. We could have 400. But I cannot do anything with that because, I mean, there's 25 space or size unused. And these engines have a size of... Doesn't that show now? I have to have a look up there. Why doesn't it show? Why doesn't it show? If I go here, it will show me the size of it, but if I go on here, it will not show me the size of it. That is really weird. So let's have a look at it up here. So this ion engine has a size of 20, and I do have 25 left here, okay? So why can't I have another engine on here? Because having another engine on here would mean my ship is faster. But it won't let me do it, and these design bays are full as well. So if I were be like, well, a fuel cell is size 10, so I want to add 2 more fuel cells. It will not let me do that because it has used up all its space. That is ridiculous. So why are they making a step back with this? Now I'm annoyed. I mean, this game looks really... It looks great so far. I'm really happy with it. Everything I see, I'm really happy with it. It looks like Distant Worlds universe, but, well, more modern and more polished. Okay, I'm really into that. But then, why? I mean, this is not the first example of something like that. I have had other franchises and sequels and stuff where you would look at the new game and they, for some reason, would revert some of the features back to a lesser state than they were in the previous game. Why? How could anyone think this is better than just having no base and just let the player do whatever the hell he wants? Why can't I use these 25 size that are left over for something useful? Why I can't use it for anything? We don't have defense yet, so I want to use that for something else until we get defense. And maybe I don't want to have any defense on my science ship at all. Why would I have defense on my science ship? Basically, I can rate that as something expendable and be like, well, I want it to be fast. I want it to be able to go as far away, as deep into space as possible. I don't care about defense. I just want it to be fast and survey stuff as fast as possible and travel as fast as possible. I can't do that. If I don't put defense on here, I basically waste these 2 slots and I waste ship size. Okay, I'm really angry right now. Sorry guys, but this stuff like this pisses me off. Why? You have a perfect system. You have one of the best chip designers, if not the best chip designer in the history of 4X games, of Space 4X games. You have the best or one of the best ship designers. And then you make a sequel to that game and you somehow manage to make a ship designer that is worse. Why not stick with what worked in the prequel? Why not... In the previous game, why not just stick with that? It was perfect. It didn't need any upgrade. It didn't need any change. I don't get it. I seriously don't get stuff like this. Why? This game looks so fantastic, and then you do stuff like this. Jesus. Okay, let me go out of here. Okay, sorry guys. Just stuff like this. I don't understand it. I just don't. It's complete. I hope we can somehow mod this stuff out of it. maybe it gets changed with an update. I don't know. I hope so. Maybe they see the error of their ways and change it. I don't know. But anyway, so about ship design, something else I wanted to tell you is we have these civilian ships. I already told you that, and if you have here, let's say, a small freighter. Now the cool thing is we can also modify these designs. So if you want basically your private economy, you could say, why should they have missiles on it? Just save on the missiles. Get rid of that. Okay? Get rid of these missiles, which means ships get cheaper and will use less crew, they will use less energy, they will be faster and whatnot. And actually, let's copy this as new. Then we can actually change it. So if we take this out, yeah, the ship, all other stats basically improve because that is completely unnecessary. Yeah, so that's what you can do. You can customize these designs to be cheaper, faster, whatever, more effective at what they are meant to do. These are not fighting ships. They don't need missiles. They don't necessarily need shields. I mean, of course, these can get destroyed, but seriously, they have... Most of the time, they can take maybe one hit and they need to get out of there. Otherwise, they will get destroyed anyway. So, yeah, you can make these ships cheaper for the private economy, and which means the private economy will then do better. Now, of course, if you are really expecting a war anytime soon, it might be a good idea to beef these things up a little bit just in case. But as long as you are just building up and it seems like it's peacetime and you don't have to deal with pirates that much, just make these as cheap as possible, and then your private economy will flourish even more. So that's something you can do. So what else do we have? This is research. I want to save this for last. What is that? This is military. Let's deselect our planet there. So we have military ships. We don't have any right now. We have fleets. We have troops. We have admirals, defensive bases, monitoring stations. So these are basically like sensor stations, I think. And new locations where we could build that. Then we have enemy targets and we have dangerous locations. I think these might be locations where we have space monsters and stuff. I don't really know. That seems to be new. Then we have templates. Oh yeah, that's nice. Fleet templates. So you can have templates for your fleets. I guess, I'm not really sure, but I guess when you have set up a template, you can then just build an entire fleet, or basically just order an entire fleet at once. And if it's done right, I'm not sure because I need to play this first. If it's done right, you might also be able to refill fleets that have lost some ships. So basically, if you have we have a fleet with 10 ships and 3 get destroyed in a battle, you can then basically just click that you should top up the fleet. I hope this will be the case, because that's, if you have templates for fleets, that's how you would use them. I'm not sure if the previous game had fleet templates. It had fleets, certainly. I'm not really sure about that. I would have to look that up. It has been a while since I played it. I'm not really sure about that. So army templates we have as well. So we can have, let's see, infantry, armored, planetary defense. Yeah, that's nice. So we can have army templates as well. Nice. So what do we have here? This is civilian. So we have all civilian ships, civilian freighters, passenger ships, resort bases, and new possible resort locations. We can actually build a resort at our home planet here, which doesn't make sense for me because, well, okay, if it's a beautiful planet, it might make sense to build a resort station in orbit to watch the beautiful blue marble here. That might be a cool thing to do. So let's have, what is over here? Victory condition, progress. What is that? Economy, 10% of 33. Terran Empire, no, 18%. We have 18% victory progression, 10%, 8%. Okay. Human victory conditions. What is that? Control 100% of all continental colonies in the galaxy. 1. We need to have 100 colonies then. Have the most defense treaties in the galaxy. Destroy more enemy ships and bases than you lose. Earn the most tourist income in the galaxy. Earn the most trade income in the galaxy. So these are the victory conditions for the race. Nice. It would be even nicer if you could see that before you start the game, so you could actually select your race based on your victory conditions. That would be nice. So that's that. What else do we have? Game menu, obviously Galactopedia. Oh, so this is like the manual. Okay, this is the manual. Nice. Okay, then we have a lot of map modes here. We have resource flow. Yeah, we already had a look at that. Migration flow. Obviously we won't see anything like that right now because we don't have a lot of stuff going on. We have tourism flow. Nebula boundaries. Nebula boundaries. Oh, okay, these are the nebulas. Okay, interesting. Long range scanners on and off. Travel vectors. Okay, that will tell you where your ships will go in terms of a straight line. So where's our ship? Ah, there it is. So let's say we want to survey this. We should get a travel vector. Or is that only outside of the system? It probably is only outside of the system. Location batches. What is that? Location off. Oh, okay, that's this. So we have detailed. Okay, interesting. We have exploration off and on. Oh, okay, this tells us where the explored territory, basically. Okay. Diplomacy, diplomatic relations. Okay, if we had any, we would see that as well. And we can completely hide the user interface except for this thing here. Interesting. Interesting stuff. So let's have a look at research as last item. Okay, no research project. So we have research locations, research stations. We don't have any yet. Obviously, research bonus amounts. Weapons research, plus 20%. So we see all bonus research bonuses we have here. These are empire-wide, I guess. And we see our scientists, of which we have none right now. And then, yeah, let's have a look at the research project. So, I can't zoom this. Can I zoom this? Oh, actually, I can zoom this. Nice. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is going on here? What is... Okay, I mean... Oh, Jesus. These are all research projects. Holy mother of God. So, I mean... Distant Worlds Universe has a really extensive text screen, but... This is more. I'm almost certain this is more. Do you see that? These are all the technologies you can research in this game. Holy shit, and just the weapons section here, the red one. That's just all weapons here, until here. That is all weapons. Holy shit. So what is going on here? We have weapons, troops, reactors, shields, hyperspace, engines, assault pods, damage control, construction, mining and energy, targeting and countermeasures, sensor scanners and stealth. We have exploration and colonization. We have storage and transport. We have crew, command, medical systems, commerce and recreation. We have research. We have diplomacy. Oh, Jesus Christ, guys. Okay, I mean, this looks very similar to what I'm used to from Distant World Universe, but it seems to be more. It has to be more. Seriously, this screen seems much bigger than what I'm used to. And look at how, Jesus Christ, this is insane. If you want to research, where is it? Where do we have a good example? Yeah, if you want to research that thing, you need to research all of that up here. And then also all of that down here. Okay. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. So that is amazing. There's some crossover technologies here. And what is going on down here? So if you want to research... Where does that go? If you want to research that back here. What do you have? If you want to research that, do you have to research all of that here? And then also that stuff up here. And what the hell? Oh, this is a mess. This is a complete mess. What is going on here? Jesus fucking H Christ. Okay, you see the research screen? Yeah. Okay, that's the research screen. Great stuff. Jesus Christ. Oh, no. Look at this. Okay, let's leave this. Exit. My eyes hurt. Okay, yeah. This game is huge. Just let me tell you that. It is absolutely... You see what... All the stuff that is in here. That is insane. There's so much stuff going on in this game. There's so much detail. There's so much stuff going on behind the scenes. There's so many numbers and statistics and stuff. And there you have the private economy, and there's tons of research, tons of different systems. And yeah, it's just... That's what I like about this game. It is very deep. It is very complex. It is extremely customizable. I dare you to show me another 4X game that has this level of customization that you get here in Distant Worlds. I mean, it has been that way in Distant Worlds Universe. It seems to be the same here in Distant Worlds 2. It is insane. It is absolutely, utterly, completely insane what's going on here. The level of detail and customization in Distant Worlds, it's insane. It's one of the reasons why I love this game. These games. So if I will love this one, we will have to see. But I love Distant Worlds Universe. And this seems to be very similar. Now, the interface is very different. But it's also at the same time very familiar because it has the same stuff in it. It's just arranged differently, it's designed differently, and it's much more modern and sleek, and there's a lot more tooltips and stuff. But at the end of the day, there are parts of it that look almost identical once you're in the menus. For example, the ships list and the planetary thing. Let me just show you that again. So where's the planet? So this thing here looks very, very similar to what I'm used to. Obviously, the much of the screens where you set up the game are very similar to what I'm used to from the previous iteration. There's also a lot of differences. I mean, this thing here is new. We don't have a mini-map. The stuff is arranged differently. All that up here was in the middle in the previous game. It's now in the left top corner there. The stuff like that here was on the right side here. Yeah, and obviously the biggest change that, as you might have noticed, that I don't like is the new ship design. I will have to see what I will do with that. Right now, I'm just disappointed. Why? What? I mean, as far as I see, everything else is pretty much the same, and where it's not the same, it seems to be improved. Except the ship design, it's a huge step back. I don't know why. I will. Yeah. It inspires me to make a video about ship designers. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, whatever. So that is something I don't like, but. Other than that, it seems to be a very good sequel in terms of first impressions. I will have to play it, obviously, to have a educated opinion about this. But from the first look of it, it looks very nice. Yeah, I will make a Let's Play series as soon as I am able to do so. As soon as I have enough time on my hands to do so. It might be after we finish Humankind on the channel, the current playthrough. Maybe after that, maybe even before that if I find the time. I'm not really sure, but you will see a Let's Play of Distant Worlds 2 on my channel not too far into the future. That will absolutely happen because I'm really excited for this game. Despite the ship designer, I will be able to deal with that. I have seen worse. Stellaris. So yeah, that's that basically. This was a pretty long video, I realized that, but this is a pretty huge game, and yeah, if you stuck around until now, thank you. If you liked the video, please leave a like below. Be back next time for more Distant World stuff at some point, maybe for my other games that I'm playing on the channel, maybe for other content that I'm doing. If you didn't subscribe yet to the channel, please consider doing so and support me. Yeah, and until we see us again, I wish you all the best. Have a great time, be safe, stay healthy. Yeah, bye.